combination of wanting to get out of there and being able to sell your house for like 3 times what it was worth because you were there in the Bay Area. So nothing else sports-wise, pro sports-wise, going to be going on in Oakland. And Rob Manfred, who's the MLB commissioner, said, well, it's going to be a difficult time for Oakland fans, but that they said the team wouldn't have to pay a relocation fee if it moved to Las Vegas. I don't know why that is. But the Oakland A's had the lowest attendance and payroll in Major League Baseball. So you can't really make a great case when you're getting to the point where the team wants to move and the owners want to move. And you can't really make a great case.
Right, and Moneyball 2 is going to be great when it's based
in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah.
Right. This is the first relocation since the Expos turned into the Washington Nationals almost 20 years ago.
Are they still going to be the Athletics? Or
They'll be the A's. Vegas A's, I think, yeah. And it was only a couple of years ago that the Raiders moved to Vegas. So Oakland is losing their sports teams to Las Vegas. Warriors moved to San Francisco from Oakland. So Oakland doesn't have any more pro teams anymore. And again, I don't think this is really all that surprising. They've been talking about it for a while. But, gee, you hate to see it. You know, as I was thinking about it, Cleveland is lucky that we have 3 major sports franchises here. A lot of cities of this size don't. You know, I grew up in a city with 2 baseball teams. You got to pick one. I chose mine out of spite as a young boy, and I have remained a fan out of spite. It's not always easy, but I grew up in a North Side Cubs family. And the Cubs easily grabbed the lion's share of the attention. You know, people across the country could watch them on the Superstation. For people who are able to watch WGN, like the Atlanta Braves, you know, on TNT, things like that. So the Cubs were a much more high-profile team. They had the whole, we haven't won a World Series in 100 years, you know, even though my White Sox won way before the Cubs won again. But it just underscored the fact that fewer people traditionally cared about the White Sox. But as a young boy, I chose them out of spite. Everybody in my family was going this way. I was going to go this way. And so I'm the sole White Sox fan in my family. It hasn't been easy. But, you know, Cleveland, you have, write this down, Bill. You have a football team in the National Football League.
For now, yeah.
Have you voted, by the way, on the dog drawings?
No,
that's today.
I haven't seen any.
There's a lot of good art there. A lot of good rendering. They're trying to pick a new dog logo for the Cleveland Browns, and so they were taking submissions from the public, and they turned in some really good, some really cool-looking logos. Some are a little bit more striking than others, but they got a lot of good submissions, and then now the public can vote. Probably at the Browns website. So we've got, let's count them off. We've got a National Football League team in Cleveland. We've got a Major League Baseball team. That's the Cleveland Guardians. You know, they used to be called the Indians.
No.
And nobody had a problem with them changing the name, so they did that with the quickness.
That one person.
Smooth transition.
And you've got the Cleveland Cavaliers. You've got a National Basketball Association team. You know, a lot of cities, even bigger ones, maybe only have one team. Oklahoma City. If you're into pro sports, you better be a basketball fan. Pittsburgh, they don't have an NBA team. That's a football town. I know Cleveland's a football town too, but I mean, you have options here. You know, you get pro soccer here. Although I think that's getting more common too. I think that's probably like entry level for a lot of markets now is getting a pro soccer team because, you know, it's a sport that can inject something into the local economy, I guess. But the city of Oakland is on the losing end of all that stuff. It's not going to work out for them anymore. So I don't know if you become a Vegas A's fan. Maybe they'll just call them the Vegas. Vegas? The Vegas. VEGA''S.
Probably not.
Not the Vegas?
I don't know. I'm not saying no.
It's a great idea. You're lying if you tell me
maybe.
it's not a great idea. The Vegas.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's not a great idea.
You're what? You're lying.
Yeah, I'm going against you.
You're lying to me.
I guess I am.
Man. Okay.
They should. Yeah, I think they should.
VEGA''S. It's looking right at them. Raiders didn't change their name. They're the Raiders.
I think they should be the Vegas Double Downs.
Like the chicken sandwich.
Yes, like the chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Not the
That's a
very
Vegas
common
reference.
move in the card game.
Gambling
Which
term
card
is
game, Bill?
That would be
chicken sandwich. The
Tw-
game.
what do you 20 blackjack.
25.
Blackjack 20.
20.
22,
attitude.
21.
Always double down on 11. I know that not because of my dad like Mary does, but because
because
of
of-
swingers.
Oh, because of my joke about doubling down on 11, probably. Because I'm your favorite comic.
Yeah. Why not?
That didn't seem too convincing.
I don't like to. Who do I need to convince? She's my favorite comic.
You don't need to cast your lot with anybody
Yeah.
in particular? Mary's your favorite comedian?
Uh-huh.
Wow, he is damning with faint praise over
Yeah,
there.
what are you gonna
You
do?
really got to drag it out of
Can't
him.
win them all, you know?
Well,
What I'm
somebody
saying, you're my favorite comic.
somebody texted me earlier and said that they watched your special and really enjoyed it.
Hey, Nothing Matters on YouTube. Check it out. We're at almost 30,000 views.
Good job.
There you
That's
go.
what I'm saying. That's what you're
Yeah.
my favorite comic.
Pretty good. Shut up. I would like to get more than that. But hey, if you check it out, that's cool. If not, nothing matters, man. Just don't forget it.
Hoist it with your own petard, really. I
Naming
mean,
it Nothing Matters. You know how hard it is to
yeah.
promote something called Nothing,
Nothing matters, right?
And
People
an
are like, if you don't
enthusiastic-
believe in it, why are you trying to get me to do it?
100%.
Believe in the material, but the self-deprecating title.
Uh-huh.
You should have called it Mary Santora. Nothing matters more to me than this.
The best comedy special you'll ever see.
Well, nobody can say that, but you just go like, hey, please watch. You should go call it, please watch my special.
Yes. At 29,779 views.
29,779.
Yes.
Let's get that up to 30,000.
Yeah, 221 views.
No way to know how many more that is.
You're right.
That can't be right.
Double down on your views.
Yeah. Vegas Aces. No, that's the WNBA team. That's already taken.
Vegases.
The Gaces.
The Gases. The Vegas Jokers.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't read anything that implied they're going to change the name. But because I mean, they kept it from Philly to Kansas City.
The Vegas Chips.
Boy, you thought Guardians was bad. Imagine calling your team the Athletics. And what are you going to call this team of athletes? The Athletics. Bravo. You nailed it. We just call it the Ball Catchers.
I mean, I'm still a big fan of Cleveland soccer team being called the Cleveland Kick Sockers.
I know. And I want that very much to happen for you. I got some sperm news for anybody who's interested in it. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we probably are all sperm news involved in it. It is the death, according to these people writing about it, of casual sex.
What?
Casual sex is seeing a precipitous decline in American society.
Get your pinkies out. It's fancy sex time.
Woohoo.
It's the proper sex.
Yeah.
Those elbow-length white gloves.
Get your monocles ready.
Mm-hmm.
Your spats.
Put on your spats.
We're doing formal sex.
Today's young people are swiping left. I get it. On the idea of casual sex. This was a wide-ranging study that had steadily decreased in recent years. They initially thought it was because of the pandemic. Turns out that's not why. But it also differs between men and women, obviously. Guys don't care. Guys don't care. But they said, but there are a lot of ways in which the culture is changing too, kind of moving toward a more moderate form of behavior, like dry January got real popular. You know?
That's not. no. If people want to get laid, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, I can't. It's dry January."
No. I'm
No,
not.
no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
connecting this to sex. I'm saying
Oh.
that there's other things that they've seen people just in areas of their life becoming a little bit more moderating in how they're doing things.
I think people are really. I think what's getting people is the rate of STDs, like incurable STDs.
Well, no. Basically, what they said is
They're called kids.
this is in large part. It's not just January, but it's basically in large part that booze fuels casual sex. And that the current generation of younger people are just drinking less.
Really?
And so they're having fewer one-night stands, especially women. They're like, women are, and you certainly can't blame women. I mean, boy, even if all the casual sex ended tomorrow, you had a really good run. I can't believe, I mean, if you're a woman, you're like worried about getting murdered or shot or, you know, a guy putting you in his trunk. Holy cow. So they're like, yeah, inebriation and casual sex really, really go together like chocolate and peanut butter.
I can't think of the last time I just had like a one and done. Maybe
I
it was,
haven't had one since I've been sober.
I think maybe 2021, like the end of 2020.
I haven't.
And see, this is how you shoot yourself in the foot if you're one of these MAGA wingnuts who don't think that women should be able to control their own bodies. Because guess what? If you make it really, really hard for them to have access to reproductive health care, they're not going to do any, you know, you're worried about, we're getting replaced by brown people. You know, you want to make sure that if somebody gets pregnant, come hell or high water, they have that kid. Well, they're not going to have as much sex. Or they're going to make sure, as much as they possibly can, that that's not going to happen. So if you tell an entire generation of women, hey, you don't get to control what goes on down there, they're going to go, yeah, I'm just going to cut way back on the sex. Guys don't care, by the way. They're like, women have a lot more regret about one-night stands. Guys don't care. They're like, it's fine.
Hey, sometimes you have sex.
Yeah, it's like pizza. You know? So casual sex is way... Now, I'd be curious to see them do a wide-ranging study on gay men. Our own Poundcake would be our little canary in the coal mine. But now he's got a McBoyfriend, so he's not out there dipping and dashing like he was before.
I will say that the last time I had because I was going to say, I haven't had a one-night stand where I didn't host, but that's not true. The last time I had a one-night stand, I remember it was just a spur-of-the-moment thing because I didn't shave. And so I'm like, I'm treating it too casual. I'm just like, I'll go over there. Who cares what I look like? Like, he's happy to get some D. I'm happy to get some D. Like, it's no big deal. But I was treating it too casually. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I've like hit my peak on I was the king of the hookup.
You wanted to give yourself some standards.
Yeah, I can't say the word, but the be and go. I was all for that. And now, yeah.
The old hump and dump. The old love them and leave them.
Yeah.
Our little Poundcake's growing up.
Well, it's not that it's
not paying for his cell phone growing up, but baby steps.
It's not that it's
it.
less fun. It's just I weigh the pros and cons, and it's just not worth it. Like, yeah, it's fun, but then when you deal with, I don't know this person, I could get killed, or I don't know this person and their sexual history, I could have an STD.
Thing is, I wonder what's different because those things have always been the case.
When you're young, you don't think about it. Because I was in college. I was like, I'm in college. That was my excuse.
Yeah, but
I'm
some
in
people
college.
do. But they're talking about a young generation of people who are changing their thinking. So people do think about that.
Probably the rise of porn, OnlyFans. Like people can see who they want naked, and they don't have to settle for this guy on the street with the mole and the hair on it.
Well, right, but again, I'm sure that's part of it. I mean, I think that has more to do. And we were talking about this a while ago, like a couple months ago. They did another one of those studies, and they were like, porn has not cut into.
I'm not talking about OnlyFans. It's different than porn. It is people.
You think people aren't having one-night stands because of OnlyFans?
They're having one-night stands on OnlyFans. That's
they're getting paid.
Well, no, maybe. They're like, hey, you can wear a mask or whatever, but if you want to hook up with me, this is how I make my money. This is how I'm paying for my tuition. It's in this dorm. Come to,
tuition.
Dorm 702, and, we'll get it popping.
Wear a mask.
Some people. I messed around and found out. I saw somebody on there. I was like, hey, I know that tattoo. And I texted the person. I said, is this you? Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
You go over there?
No, it was somebody that I knew that was in this OnlyFans video, but they were wearing a mask.
Oh, and you blew up their spot. You said, hey.
No, I did blow up their spot. That clearly they knew they were being filmed, and if you didn't know who they were, like if you didn't know their body, you wouldn't think anything of it. But since I knew their body, I was like,
were they sheepish about it? Or they were just like, yeah,
No.
that's me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, I filmed it, but got to keep a low profile. I was like, oh, I'm not hating. I just was curious.
He's not hating. He's baiting.
I was watching it. How could I judge if I was watching it? You're like, why are you starring? Why are you watching? Why are you baiting?
You're like, hey, I know that guy. Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you watch porn, you see a girl you went to college with. Hey, I know her.
But it is.
She wouldn't go out with me.
I don't know what changed. It just has to be maturity because I used to hook up in cars, and I can't remember the last time I had a car hookup, a random car hookup. And that was my thing. I'm like, ooh, let's pull to a secluded area.
A random, you mean as opposed to a planned car hookup?
Well, I'm just saying a car
Impromptu.
Yeah, I'm like if I'm with a boyfriend or something like that, then sure, I'll mess around in the car.
But you weren't like on the corner flagging dudes down, like not.
This was like Grindr. We have nowhere to go. Like
There was probably some kind of vetting process.
No, there wasn't.
It was heavy vetting.
If you're cute, meet me underneath this tree.
If you're cute, meet me under this tree.
Turn your lights off, and take off your plates.
You
that.
really had him go through it.
Yeah, I remember one time I was messing around and there was a city bus that went by. I'm like, oh my God, they're elevated so they can see exactly where my head was. I'm like, oh man.
They're like, next stop, Cleveland State University. Really killing the mood.
Yeah, man, I've evolved, but if I didn't have those experiences, I probably wouldn't have gotten it out of my system, somewhat. Like I still have the urges to do that, but I just don't have the energy.
Some people never have it in their system, too. It makes sense if somebody's like, I got it out of my system, but some people never have it in their system in the first place.
I feel like I was making up for lost time.
No, I understand.
All my friends in high school, and they said, oh.
You were in a different situation.
Yeah, they were getting late. This was the first time I had men who were out and proud, and they would hook up with dudes openly, and they just didn't care. And I was like, what is going on here? I was like, you mean I could just press this button and order a dude like I order a pizza? And I had to try it.
Half hour, it's free.
Somebody sent me to Alan, tell Mary to watch out. Somebody sent me the little blurb from the Mayfield Heights police blotter. A woman said she was a victim of fraud when a man on feetfinder.com requested $1,000 worth of pictures of her feet.
And then what?
I'm confused by this. A woman said that she was the victim of fraud.
Okay.
When a man contacted her on feetfinder.com and requested $1,000 worth of pictures of her feet.
Okay.
She sent him a total of $700 through a Cash App. Why? Because he said it was needed to verify that she was real.
Well, that's just a dumb thing to do.
We can't all be rocket scientists. There's probably a reason that you're selling pictures of your feet, my dear.
Easy.
Well, you've got a whole thing going on, though. This person clearly does not. Her bank is investigating. Yeah, Mary's not a moron.
No, I'm not.
I need to make sure you're real. Oh, do you? Because if you like the pictures of the feet, it's like reading this big thing on like people are AI nudes. They're selling nudes of imaginary women on Reddit, and it's working. I'm like, working? Dudes don't care. They don't care if it's fake.
Real boobs, fake boobs.
Yeah.
You're in.
They've been watching porn. I mean, that's not AI, but it's all fantasy. It's just a matter of degree. It's a matter of, digital competence or whatever.
Can you
Who cares?
You know how people always get mad that they say, oh, you can't take a picture of me. I'm copyrighted. What about when they make an
people
AI
always say that.
An AI version of your OnlyFans? It's not you, but it looks like you, and they're making an OnlyFans and doing the moves better with a larger D. What happens then?
I'll tell you what, though, it's already, this stuff is moving so quickly. It's already really hard to tell if you're not looking closely. There's for a long time they were like, oh, you can tell if it's AI because they can't figure fingers out. I don't know why that was so hard for AI-generated images, but now they're starting to figure out hands and things like that. But the faces subreddit, where a lot of these are AI, are like fooling people. But I don't think people care.
No.
I mean, why would you? There's going to be AI porn. There's going to be who cares? I mean, I'm sure you're going to have people that get indignant about getting the wool pulled over their eyes or something, but that's the future. It's practically the present.
I just want everybody to send me $700 to make sure that I know that they're real.
Yeah.
Send it right back.
Mm-hmm.
I promise.
You send me $700, and then I'll know you're real.
Alan, send me $700 right now to make sure I know that you're real.
Okay.
How else would I know?
You
That's
won't.
a really
you
good
honestly
point.
Won't.
Yeah.
No, because there's a monitor between the two of us. He can't tell if I'm real or not. I mean, in the strictest sense, I'm barely real. I mean, so let me send you this money here. You tell me if you got it.
All right,
Did you
Bill,
get it?
I did not.
When you get it from Alan, I need you to send me $1,400 so I can know that both you and Alan are real. Okay?
I don't need you to know that I'm real.
I need to know for me.
I don't want
I'm
you
your
to
favorite
know.
comedian. You need to
Right, but
prove
I want
yourself
you
to
to
me.
You need to prove yourself to me. Prove that I'm your favorite. I have to break. If you are a Pink Floyd fan, there's a super group traversing the country, a bunch of dudes from other bands. They're called the Gilmore Project. And they are on the road doing some live stuff as a tribute to the 50th